Hello and a very warm welcome. I am Gushin Garland and you're watching Firstpost. In the next few minutes, I get you the top 40 updates from around the world, only here on Fast and Factual. Let's get started. We begin with the latest on the deadly Pahalgam terror attack. Indian Army Chief General Upendra Dwivedi visited Srinagar today. His visit was aimed at assessing the security situation in the valley after the terror attack. Meanwhile, House of Terror suspect Adil Thokar was reportedly razed today in Jammu and Kashmir, and there was a blast reported at the house of another terror suspect named Asif Sheikh. The security forces reportedly suspected presence of explosive materials in Sheikh's home. Amid rising tensions between India and Pakistan, Pakistani forces reportedly fired shots along the line of control or the LOC in Jammu and Kashmir. The Indian Army reportedly responded to the Pakistani provocation immediately. Third encounter broke out in Jammu and Kashmir in 3 days after Pahalgam terror attack. An LET terrorist associate identified as Altaf Talli has been killed in the gunfight, while 2 security forces personnel sustained injuries. Leader of opposition Rahul Gandhi is also in Srinagar. His visit includes a meeting with Jammu and Kashmir's Chief Minister Omar Abdullah, other party leaders and civil delegations. Before his visit, Gandhi condemned the Pahalgam attack and extended the opposition's support to the Modi government to take any action. US President Donald Trump has condemned the recent Russian attack on Ukrainian capital Kyiv. Taking to his social media platform Truth Social, Trump wrote, and I quote, "Vladimir, stop." He said he is not happy with the way missiles are being fired in the middle of peace talks. Reiterating his bid for the US to control Greenland, US President Donald Trump said that the island is very important for international peace. He added that not having Greenland is a big threat to our world. The remarks were made during a press briefing in the Oval Office. Prime Minister Mark Carney has said that Canada's old relationship with the United States is over. Remarks came after Trump announced a potential increase of tariffs on Canadian automakers. The statement was made amid his campaign ahead of upcoming elections in the country. In France, a student was killed while 3 others were injured in a knife attack in a school. According to reports, the stabbing followed a conflict among the students, and the attacker had reportedly suffered from depression. Bikers gathered in Lima yesterday to protest the Peru government's restrictions on riding motorcycles in the capital. The authorities banned riding bikes with other riders and made it mandatory for the riders to wear vests with the license plate on their back. The measures were to curb the rising criminality in the country. In climate news, a 19-year-old from New Jersey has been charged with arson and aggravated arson in connection with the massive Jones Road wildfire that scorched over 15,000 acres in state's Pineland region. The wildfire, which erupted Tuesday in the Greenwood Forest Wildlife Management Area, is among the largest in New Jersey since 2007. Authorities say the blaze started from an improperly extinguished bonfire involving wooden pallets. Greece will deploy a record 18,000 firefighters ahead of its official wildfire season starting May 1, following years of devastating blazes worsened by climate change. Civil Protection Minister said the decision comes amid fears of worsening fire seasons, even though current weather conditions appear milder. Last summer was Greece's hottest on record, with wildfires claiming lives and burning tens and thousands of acres. Farmers in northern Mexico are facing devastating drought conditions, with more than 64% of country affected. The state of Chihuahua is among the hardest hit, experiencing the most extreme levels of drought. The crisis has led to dead livestock, dried up fields, and mounting uncertainty among farmers, some of whom are considering abandoning their land. Japan's greenhouse gas emissions fell by 4% in the fiscal year ending March 2024, reaching a record low of 1.071 billion metric tons. This marks the country's lowest level of emissions since records began in 1990 and 91. The drop was attributed to reduced energy consumption, greater reliance on renewable energy, and the restart of nuclear power plants. A new international marine conservation initiative, Revive Our Ocean, was launched with backing from British naturalist David Attenborough. Led by NGO Dynamic Planet and National Geographic's Pristine Seas program, the initiative aims to help local communities establish marine protected areas in their coastal waters. Target countries include the UK, Greece, Turkey, Portugal, Mexico, Indonesia and the Philippines. On to business in tech news now. Stock markets in Asia and Europe head for second consecutive week of gains, while the dollar posts its first weekly rise in over a month, as investors welcome an apparent softening of the White House stance on China despite no signal of date end. In Japan, the Nikkei was 1.8% in the earlier day, while Hong Kong's Hang Seng rose 1%. The US dollar rose $1.13 per euro and 143 Japanese yen. South Korea and the United States have agreed to create a trade package aimed at removing new US tariffs before the pause on reciprocal tariffs in July is lifted. Seoul requests exemptions from reciprocal and item-specific US tariffs while offering cooperation on shipbuilding and energy. The US describes trade talks with South Korea as very successful. Meanwhile, China is reportedly considering suspending its 125% tariff on some US imports, including on medical equipment and industrial chemicals like methane. This comes as the economic costs of the tit-for-tat trade war weigh heavily on certain industries. Chinese authorities are reportedly also discussing waiving the tariff for aircraft leases. 7-Eleven convenience store parent 7&i Holdings says it will have to take a hard look at its supply chain and rein in some costs as US consumers grapple with the impact of President Trump's tariffs. This comes as 7&i plans to list its North American subsidiary in the second half of 2026. Electric vehicle cab service Blue Smart's co-founder Puneet Jaggi has reportedly been detained by India's Enforcement Directorate in New Delhi. The ED is investigating a money laundering case linked to Gensol Group, another company he co-founded. Properties of Gensol in Delhi, Gurugram and Ahmedabad have also been searched. Moving to quarterly earnings, Japan's Nissan Motor expects to record a loss of up to $5.26 billion for the financial year ending in March. This after the automaker suffers impairment charges amid ongoing restructuring efforts that has seen Japan's third largest automaker cut jobs, reduce capacity and close plants. Pampers diaper maker Procter & Gamble says it will raise prices on some products to cover the impact on input costs from the trade war. This comes after the company, a bellwether for the consumer goods demand, saw a 2% drop in quarterly sales as consumers cut back spending due to economic uncertainty. Apple is reportedly planning to shift assembly of all iPhones sold in the US to India as early as next year. The move comes as the tech giant looks to pivot away from China amid escalating trade tensions between Beijing and Washington, with Apple aiming to source over 60 million iPhones sold in the US annually from India by the end of 2026. Digital media publisher Ziff Davis sues OpenAI in a US court, accusing the ChatGPT maker of misusing copyrighted content to train its AI models. The case comes amid a growing number of copyright lawsuits against AI developers by US news outlets and creators. Photoshop software owner Adobe announces it will add image generation AI models from OpenAI and Google to its Firefly app. The move expands the app's capabilities and brings it to mobile devices. Adobe users will now be able to generate content using both third-party and Firefly events. Moving to sports, we begin with cricket. Bengaluru beat Rajasthan by 11 runs in the ongoing Indian Premier League. After taking to the field in the Chinnaswamy Stadium, Rajasthan struggled to contain the depth of Bengaluru's batting lineup. This as Virat Kohli struck a 70-run inning of just 42 balls as Bengaluru put 205 runs on the scoreboard. In response, Rajasthan fell 11 runs short after losing 9 wickets. The Indian Cricket Board (BCCI) have reportedly asked the global cricket body (ICC) to not club India and Pakistan in the same group in the future tournaments. The development comes after a Pakistan-sponsored terrorist attack in Jammu and Kashmir's Pahalgam claimed 26 lives. In football, Leicester City have confirmed that captain Jamie Vardy will leave at the end of the season after 13 years at the club. The 38-year-old has scored the third most goals in the club's history, with 198 goals in 496 appearances. Of those goals, 143 have come in the Premier League, putting him 15th on the league's all-time scoring charts. Tottenham Hotspur defender Christian Romero says he would love to play in La Liga. The 26-year-old's future has been the subject of debate for several months. Reports say La Liga club Atletico Madrid is interested in him, and city rivals Real Madrid are also looking to sign a centre-back in the summer. Romero will have 2 years remaining on his Tottenham contract at the end of the season. In tennis, women's world number 2 Iga Świątek advanced in the Madrid Open. The Polish beat the Philippines' Alexandra Ayala 4-6, 6-4, 6-2. Świątek will play 31-seeded Linda Noskova in the next round. Women's world number 4 Coco Gauff also advanced in the Madrid Open. The American star beat her Ukrainian rival 0-6, 6-2, 7-5. Gauff will now face compatriot Anne Lee in the round of 32 clash. Men's world number 3 Carlos Alcaraz withdraws from the Madrid Open due to an injury. Alcaraz said he has not fully recovered from the upper leg ailment that bothered him during the Barcelona Open final last Sunday. Alcaraz was scheduled to play his opening match of Madrid Open on Saturday. Formula One bosses have agreed in principle to a mechanism that would allow engine manufacturers facing a performance shortfall under New Year's new rules to catch up. A proposal to cut the amount of electrical energy permitted in races is yet to be agreed upon. In hockey, Pakistan's participation in the Men's Asia Cup later this year remains uncertain after Pahalgam terror attack. Hockey India says it will follow the government's policy on the matter for the Asia Cup set to be held in August. India has ordered all Pakistani nationals to leave the country following the terror attack. Tokyo Olympics gold medalist Neeraj Chopra clarifies the invitation to Pakistani javelin thrower Arshad Nadeem was sent 2 days before the Pahalgam terrorist attack. The star Indian javelin thrower said after the terror attack, Nadeem's participation in Neeraj Chopra's classic event is out of question. And finally, in entertainment news, YouTube India has removed 2 songs from the film Abir Gulal, starring Fawad Khan and Vani Kapoor. This is following an online backlash and boycott demands in the wake of the April 2022 Pahalgam terror attack. The film, already banned from release in India, was set to premiere on May 9. The feud between actor-director Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively over the film It Ends With Us has taken a dramatic turn, with new court filings accusing Lively's camp of a ploy to obtain subpoena power. Baldoni's attorney claims they are uncovering a broader scheme of involving former publicist Stephanie Jones and her PR firm. The Golden Globes will return to CBS and Paramount Plus on January 11, 2026. The shift moves the 83rd edition of the ceremony to the second weekend of January, instead of its traditional first weekend slot. Comedian Nikki Glasser will return as host after a well-received performance at the 2025 ceremony. The event will again be broadcast live from the Beverly Hilton Hotel in Beverly Hills. The Season 3 finale of Yellow Jackets has become the most watched episode in the show's history, reaching 3 million viewers within a week. According to Paramount Global, the episode saw a 54% increase in the streaming viewership compared to the Season 2 finale. Overall viewership grew 19% year-on-year. The show's rising popularity on Paramount Plus has cemented Season 3 as its most successful yet. And finally, NBC is developing a reboot of Royal Pains, the USA Network medical drama that originally ran from 2009 to 2016. The reboot will feature original star Mark Feuerstein reprising his role as Dr. Hank Lawson. The show will now focus on Dr. Hank Lawson searching for a new purpose in life. That's all for today. Thank you for joining us. I am Gushin Galan and we'll see you right back here next week. Stay informed and stay tuned to Firstpost.